Well, good evening, this is Soundlock Steve, wishing you a very pleasant evening. And you know, I normally don't dabble in politics south of the border here, but we have a situation that is shaping up to be probably one of the bizarrest election campaigns in the history of America. And this is with Joe Biden. Now, I wouldn't be talking about his running mate, but he has just picked a running mate, Kamala Harris. And now I suspect that she was basically a group decision by the DNC, including Joe Biden and his election team. But, you know, she, as well as Joe Biden, seemed to be very much the consensus choices by the committee. And consensus is one of those things that was defined by Margaret Thatcher at the point at which not everyone agrees, but which no one disagrees. And so I think Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are basically the candidates that they're trying to use to please every voting group in America. Joe appeals to the middle America, the centrist Democrats, but he's also left enough, as is Kamala Harris, you know, to appeal to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Ilhan Omar, who have essentially caused a split in the Democratic Party. But Joe Biden has slipped, and I saw his latest interview, which is an absolute disgrace. The interviewer asked him if he's taken a cognitive test, because of course Donald Trump has taken his cognitive test, and of course the immediate answer that should have come out of Joe's mouth was, it's already been booked. I'm going there next week, it will be fine, I am ready to go, and I'm fighting fit to go up against Donald Trump. However, his response is possibly the worst possible response that you could have, and he blew up at the interviewer and said, I don't need to take a cognitive test. I don't need to tell the difference between lions and rhinoceroses and so on and so forth. And I'm going to play the clip because what followed as well really does show that Joe is just not with it. He's got some kind of mental decline going on, and it's sad. It's actually sad and cruel what they're doing to parade this man in front of the American people. So what you really have to remember is that when you're voting, if you're voting for Joe Biden, there is an even chance, probably better than even chance, that Kamala Harris is going to end up being your president. Now, I'm not really qualified to talk about Kamala Harris, but I do know that she didn't have a great deal of support. I think it was 2 or 3% when she dropped out. And I've been hearing stories that she was a particularly overzealous prosecutor, especially against African Americans, prosecuting them for non-violent crimes. So I don't know how that'll play out, whether that will appeal to the moderates, or remember, we have a whole defund the police situation going on right now as well. But anyway, having seen several, you know, pretty big mistakes made by Joe Biden when he's being interviewed, or he's lost track of where he is, doesn't know which speaking venue he's at, doesn't know what state he's in, this kind of stuff. So I actually went back, and I'm going to play you a little clip right now, actually, and this is Joe Biden in the second term election of Obama. And you can hear by his speech and his mannerisms, and this was not very long ago, this is only 8 years ago, 9 years ago, and he's clear, he's succinct, you can see that he's thinking quickly, and he's doing a pretty stellar job at that rally. Okay, so let's go over and take a quick look at that.
It was worth the trip to hear my wife say what I've never heard her say before. She's always loved me. If that's the case, why in the heck did it take 5 times of asking you? And Bo, I want to thank you for putting my name in nomination to be Vice President of the United States. I accept. With great honor and pleasure, I accept. We're on a mission. We're on a mission to move this nation forward. From doubt and downturn to promise and prosperity. A mission I guarantee you we will complete. A mission we will complete. I want to show you the character of a leader who had what it took when the American people literally stood on the brink of a new depression. A leader who has what it takes to lead us over the next 4 years to a future as great as our people. I want to take you inside the White House to see the president as I see him every day. Folks, I've watched him. He has never wavered. He never backs down. He always steps up, and he always asks in every one of those critical meetings the same fundamental question: how is this going to affect the average American? How is this going to affect people's lives? That's what's inside this man. That's what makes him tick.
Now you'll see I'm going to play these two clips back to back so that you can see the difference in Joe Biden's performance and also his reaction, and pay particular attention to the little piece that he does afterwards when he tries to explain that he is fit mentally and cognitively to run for president, and he just stumbles over his words, and really it is such a damning indictment about his mental incapacity, because this is just not the same old Joe. Okay, so let's take a look at that clip.
Mr. Vice President, your opponent in this election, President Trump, has made your mental state a campaign topic. And when asked in June if you'd been tested for cognitive decline, you've responded that you're constantly tested in effect because you're in situations like this on the campaign trail. But please clarify specifically, have you taken a cognitive test?
No, I haven't taken a test. Why the hell would I take a test? Come on, man. That's like saying you, before you got in this program, if you take a test where you're taking cocaine or not, what do you think, huh? Are you a junkie?
What do you say to President Trump, who brags about his test and makes your mental state an issue for voters?
Well, if he can't figure out the difference between an elephant and a lion, I don't know what the hell he's talking about. Did you watch that? Look, come on, man. I know you're trying to goad me, but I mean, I'm so forward looking to have an opportunity to sit with the president or stand with the president in debates. There's going to be plenty of time. And by the way, as I joke with him, you know, I shouldn't say it. I'm going to say something I probably shouldn't say. Anyway, I am very willing to let the American public judge my physical and mental my physical as well as my mental fitness, and to make a judgment about who I am.
So I think you'll clearly see that his response was, of course, completely inappropriate. Shouting and arguing and calling, a black interviewer a junkie. I don't know. That's a little over the top. He should never have gone there. And of course, the expectation is, President Trump did take his Alzheimer's cognitive test, and I think that any president, not just Joe, any president should be taking that cognitive test, because it is an early indicator of signs of dementia or other mental issues. And when you have somebody who's going to be the president of a country like the United States of America with such power at their fingertips, you do not want any cognitive decline in the person who is in that office. And of course, because this is the situation here, you have to pay close attention to who is running for vice president, because as I say, Kamala Harris could quite easily end up being the president of the United States of America. And so you have to really look at the kind of policy making that you would get from her if she did end up in that position, whether she would be a good president or a bad president. And although I am not opposed to any gender holding that high office, I am opposed to someone who is poorly qualified. And of course, that's why it's so important to have clarity in this office. And of course, Kamala Harris should take a cognitive test to make sure that she can handle this job, because as you can imagine, the intensity of the pressure and the decision making that takes place at that level must be unbelievable. I mean, I know that a lot of people think that Trump is a blithering idiot, but I can assure you, having even just run in local politics, to achieve what Donald Trump achieved in the 2016 election, in other words, knock out several candidates opposing him handily, and then pretty much trotting into the White House. Trust me, that is no mean feat. Whether you like this man or not, this is no mean feat. And you can hear when he talks to the press, the way he handles reporters. Again, you may not like this man and the way he does business. And I try to stay away from the emotional side of this because I want to be able to analyze the situation. But he is incredibly articulate. He is quick off the mark. He can basically spar with anybody. And as I say, anyone who's seen him deal with these reporters at these press conferences, he deals with them absolutely handily. He doesn't even bat an eye. And to go up against Joe Biden in his mental condition, it is going to be an absolute slaughterhouse. Now, the other big problem that Joe Biden is going to have going up against Donald Trump is the baggage that he brings with him. There has been a whole trail of accusations of inappropriate touching. Some pretty creepy photographs did show up on the internet. If you type in a search for Creepy Joe or Creepy Joe Biden, some of those will pop up. You can go search for yourself. And then, of course, there is the travesty with his son Hunter in the Ukraine, and his sitting on the board of Burisma, probably the most corrupt oil and gas company in Ukraine, at a time when Joe Biden was actually charged with getting rid of corruption in Ukraine. And he even brags about getting rid of the prosecutor that was investigating the company that his son is on the board of directors. So this is not going to be answered easily on stage. You have to have a quick mind to come back against those kind of accusations. So yes, this is going to be very interesting how Joe is going to handle some of this baggage. It is going to be an absolute crushing event, and I think the DNC already know this, because although Joe said several times he's gung-ho, he's forward-looking, in fact, to sitting down or standing with the president. But the DNC, they've already had several articles out, and to try and put Joe off from having these debates, coming up with excuses, needing a fact checker and so on and so forth. And I think they know that this would be an incredible debate, and not in a good way. And so personally, I'm actually looking forward to the debates. I think this is going to be probably one of the most entertaining evenings that you'll possibly have. These 3 debates, get your popcorn, get yourself a lazy boy, and push that footrest out and watch the show, man, because it's going to be interesting. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment and subscribe below. And in the meantime, this is Hound Dog Steve signing off, wishing you a very pleasant evening, and we'll talk very, very shortly. See you now. Bye.